Am I the asshole for having our daughter cook dinner once a week? I, 35 male, have a daughter, Rebecca, 15 female, and I have to admit, both my wife and I worked a ton. So we have money, and since we were both busy with work, we hired a maid and cook to come by twice a week. Well, a while ago, both of us realized Rebecca doesn't know how to do much, so we changed what Sarah, maid, cleans, so no more cleaning Rebecca's room or laundry. Rebecca was not happy about this, but she needed to learn how to clean up after herself before she went to college. So you passive-aggressively do this to her instead of discussing it with her beforehand. That's a great start. Both of us then realized that Rebecca could not cook it all either. She only knows how to make sandwiches and heat food up. We really dropped the ball on this, so we decided to have her cook dinner once a week. Again, it seems like instead of discussing this with her, you just passive-aggressively just drop this on her. You know, this is not helping. It's like, it reminds me of, I was sent to some sort of like special needs school years ago, and we had a fish tank, and the teacher was like, hey, well, if you want the fish tank, you need to keep it clean. Well, okay, how do you keep it clean? No one would tell us how to keep it clean. So, of course, it kept getting dirtier and dirtier, and then they cited us not keeping it clean as the reason they got rid of it. But it's like, but you need to tell us how to do this. You didn't tell us how to do this, so of course it kept getting dirtier and dirtier. You don't just throw people to the wolves, or I think I read through this, so apologies if I used that wording and they did it, but you don't just not tell people how to do things and expect them to know on their own. You need to show them and talk it through them and ease them into it, if that makes sense. Like, this is really pissing me off because it's like you're not even, yeah, maybe she needs to learn how to do things, but this is not how you handle things. You don't just you don't just passive-aggressively decide, oh, you need to know how to do this. This is not helping. This is not helping at all. Because she might not even know where the fuck to start. Okay, back to the story. It started 2 weeks ago, and so far, all Rebecca made was spaghetti and tacos. They are not difficult meals, so yesterday I gave Rebecca a recipe to follow, chicken parmesan. Well, it's only 2 weeks and only 2 times. What do you expect? People have to ease into it. You don't expect people to build the Lego Titanic the first time they build something out of Legos. Okay? You're being unreasonable. You're expecting, you whine about people not making, I feel like you're being completely unfair here. Honestly, you're being completely unfair. You're just oh, well, you're not making something important. Well, yeah, she just started. Of course she's not making something really intense or really hard to make, because she just started. What do you expect? No one's going to start really high up. They have to work their way into it. Understand how the world works there. You expect, oh, she doesn't know how the world works. I think you don't know how it works either. They are not, and also learn how to fucking format your post. Holy shit, these, I'm not usually one to complain about grammar errors, but they're actually affecting my ability to understand what you're saying to some extent. I mean, maybe I'm just being a little bit angry at you, but yeah, I'm trying to read this for a YouTube video, and it's holy shit, I can't understand what you're saying after that. I'm gonna have to go back and say, oh, that's what you meant. They are not difficult meals? What? They are not difficult meals. Okay, so I'm going to read that paragraph again. It started 2 weeks ago, and so far all Rebecca made was spaghetti and tacos. They are not difficult meals, so yesterday I gave Rebecca a recipe to follow. Chicken parmesan. She was in the kitchen for 3 hours making it. Yeah, no fucking shit, because you threw her in too fast. I have to admit, it wasn't the best, and I commented that. You sound like a really nice parent, I have to say that. Rebecca got really quiet and said, well, maybe if you actually taught me crap instead of throwing me to the wolves each time, I could do stuff. Yeah, I agree with Rebecca 100%. It's like the fish story. Maybe if you guys taught us how to clean the fish tank instead of just expecting us to know and blaming us when we didn't know and it didn't happen, maybe the fish tank would have got cleaned. She picked up her plate and threw the food away. I then grounded her and she went to her room. Fuck you. Fuck you, you power-hungry motherfucker. God, I love parents that get emo when they fucking don't get their way and when their kid makes a valid point about how out of line they're being, so they ground them oh, my pride's been wounded, I need to ground my kid to keep my pride in check. Fuck you. I called my sister and she laughed and said I don't even know how to cook either and that I'm an ass for always throwing my kid's head first. You couldn't even... Yeah, you're the asshole. Let's be real here. You're a fucking asshole and you owe your daughter an apology. And she's 100% right, by the way. Maybe if you actually taught her how to do things first instead of just throwing her headlong into something without even teaching her first, maybe that would help. Just a thought. Maybe if you didn't throw her into complex recipes the third time she's cooking and gave her time to ease into it, You know, it's the same thing. Like, you know, it's like me playing poker. I don't go, you know, the first time I play charity tournament, like I'm recently easing myself into playing cash games again, playing real money tournaments. So what do? Do I sign up for the World Series of Poker main event with all the big boys that know how to play? Or do I start with charity tournaments to ease myself in? And then once I've built up a bankroll and I've gotten myself used to how to play again, then maybe I take a crack at it. And if I feel like I'm comfortable, I try again. If I feel like I'm losing, maybe I go back and practice some more. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying here? You're an asshole. Let's see what the comments say. You're the asshole. Not for making your kid cook, for shaming her for it when she did exactly. Indeed, throw her to the wolves, and then grounding her when she acted out. Edited a typo. Why do you need to edit a typo? The original post certainly didn't do that. Yes, you're the asshole. You be cooking with her and teaching her. Also, laughing and insulting someone doing something new is pathetic. I agree with that statement. I didn't teach my child basic life skills, and now I'm mad that she doesn't know basic life skills. Am I the asshole for literally not preparing my child for adulthood and getting mad at my child for my mistake? That's how the fuck you sound. Seems about legit. I have nothing to add to that comment. You're the asshole for not teaching her any cooking skills and then being surprised that her food wasn't the best. Now, commenting on the quality of her food when she clearly put a ton of effort in the meal. 3 hours in the kitchen. Grounding her when she was clearly and validly upset that you criticized the meal she worked so hard on. Instead of punching down on your child, why don't you encourage her by saying how grateful you are that she cooked, cooking with her, going with her to cooking classes, and unground her and apologize for your rude behavior / abusing your parental authority. Yes, I hope the OP does this, although I know they won't. When do people ever acknowledge they're wrong and apologize? Never. ATA, did I read correctly that you don't even know how to cook and you're essentially making fun of your 15-year-old for doing something you yourself can't do? Extra, you're the asshole. I agree with that. You're the asshole. I am all on board about having her cook. However, you do not get a say in what she cooks, nor was it appropriate for you to say how bad the meal turned out. You may wish to consider taking her advice and working alongside her. P.S. Grounding her was over the top. Well, they don't know how to be good parents. What do you expect? And how about one more? You're the asshole. Either cook with her or hire someone to teach her. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, too. You clearly can't keep your own fucking house clean. Why the fuck can't you hire someone? If you're unwilling to do anything to help her learn, you don't get to criticize her efforts. Since you can't cook either, maybe you should find someone who can teach both of you the basic techniques and then make it a weekly routine to try a new recipe together. Oh, and while you're trying to rectify your parenting failures, does she know how to shop for groceries? How to figure out how much of what to buy, how to select produce, how to budget? Yeah, I got nothing else to say. And I do like it when bad parents get roasted.